So, welcome to another episode of Tips and Tricks with Eska. Today we're going to be talking about aiming. This request came from a new subscriber. They were asking about aiming specifically. Basically, the person mentioned that they were having a hard time tracking targets and getting quick kills. They also mentioned that they were constantly getting quick killed whenever they were just looking at the target and they had their target in their sights for a long time. The target would end up killing them before they could get that kill on them. I know it can get kind of frustrating to kind of see this stuff, but I think there is a few underlying factors that you may not know about Battlefield 4. So we're going to get into some of these basic points, and hopefully this will help improve your game. Resolution. Most of the time I play on 1280 by 1024 resolution. When you up the game to a higher resolution, you are adding pixels into the viewing area that can reduce performance and slow down your time to target. Time to target is the time it takes your cursor to rest on top of the target. Most of new gaming mice have an ability to raise and lower the DPI of your mouse. This will increase and decrease the time to target. However, it will also make your mouse super sensitive to errors, and this is all a matter of what you're more comfortable with. So play around with resolutions and your DPI until you get to a place where it's comfortable for you. Personally, I play at 1280 by 1024 with a DPI of 800 to 1200. Mouse acceleration. What is mouse acceleration? There's a fast way to explain this. Put your mouse on one edge of your keyboard with plenty of room. Now move your mouse to the left, very slowly, until your character does a complete 360. Mark that spot. Put your mouse back in the original position, but do it again faster. You should notice that with mouse acceleration turned on, you performed your 360 spin before you reached the mark on your desk. You might have even performed 2 spins. That is what mouse acceleration is. And it can really put a damper on your aim if you're trying to improve your accuracy and your muscle memory for quick sighting. So just remember, when dealing with mouse acceleration, there's really one thing to remember about it. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. In order to turn it off in BF4, you have to go to the options menu, and then make sure you see something called raw mouse input. Make sure that is turned on. It's kind of a misnomer here, because what it's saying is raw mouse input means I am not going to accelerate it. And you want to make sure that is turned on. So the next factor in the technology area that we're looking at is the mouse itself. There's 2 different types of mouse. Actually, there's many different types of mice, but the only 2 that you're actually going to care about are the optical and laser mouse. The main difference between this is that an optical mouse basically looks at the surface of what it's sitting on and determines the position based on imagery. This means you can have it on many different types of surfaces, and they can be on many different types of textures. And it's going to take a picture of what it's seeing, and then it's going to determine where it's moving by the next picture that it takes. A laser mouse, on the other hand, actually shoots a beam down to the surface, and it tries to get feedback by what it's actually beaming on. This is very bad for gaming because if you use different types of solid surfaces or different types of reflective surfaces, the laser mouse is not going to be able to understand what it's on. And a lot of times, you don't really get a very good, accurate scan of what you're looking at. So when you're looking at mice to purchase, you really want to go with an optical mouse. Alright, so the next thing we need to talk about is FPS comparison. So Battlefield 4 has a lot of different mouse settings and sensitivities to it. In order to get it exactly the way you like it from another game, I have to reference this amazing website called mousesensitivity.com. This site will help you keep those same great settings from the last game that you loved and you were able to move in and do a lot of good killing in. This will help you take those settings and move them into Battlefield 4. Alright, so now that we've looked at performance of hardware and a few other things, let's take a look at what we're actually doing inside the game. So you can see I'm running around and looking at my feet. This is impractical and what we tend to do normally when we're walking around in real life. But remember, you're in a video game now, so we have to be efficient and to make this work. Remember, when you're playing Battlefield, your main goal is to shoot people. You can't shoot people looking at the floor. It's better to run with your gun pointed at the approximate location of the enemy player's head when running around, so you can reduce your time to kill on that target. Make every bullet count. When shooting a target, you can't rely on suppression to save you, so you have to be fast and accurate with your shots. Slow your roll. By that I mean aim for body parts that make sense. When you have someone running up on you and all you have is a pistol and a sniper rifle, you better make sure you have your pistol out, and you better be putting those pistols towards that headshot area or that upper neck area. If you're going to shoot their chest, they're probably going to be wearing some kind of heavy body armor with the defensive trait turned on, and and that's going to reduce the damage to them already. One of the best suggestions I can say for this is to use weapons with short bursts. If you have a weapon like the AEK, which I personally feel is the best gun in the game, put a burst on it. You can spam rounds like crazy if you have to. People just running up on you like crazy, but try to aim for targets on the body. Shoot at the head, shoot at the neck, shoot at the chest. You're going to do a lot of damage if you do that. You can use things like the AN-94. That's an amazing weapon too. But the main idea behind this is you want to save your rounds and you want to use them effectively. Because if you're only using a couple rounds in burst mode, you're not going to be spamming like you are in full auto. If you want to see the difference between burst and full auto, go to the test range. Take a look at what the spread is on full auto compared to burst. It's a lot better. Prediction. Think to yourself all the time, there's going to be somebody poking his head around this corner, and I'm going to be ready to shoot and kill that person. If you're wrong, well, at least you're prepared for whatever happens. Remember, while you're running from point A to point B, there's always going to be something that's going to happen. Try to think about what could happen. Look at what's happening in the match. Think to yourself, what is the biggest possibility right now for me to see an enemy? And keep that in the back of your mind. If you take a look at this shot here, you see that I missed a couple of these shots and this frustrates me a bit, but in the back of my mind, I'm taking a look at what's happening on the video. This guy's running into a group of our friends trying to take them out. That's their full objective. I know that he's going to try to come back around. The next shot I have to make is when he gets around to my buddies. If I miss this shot, he's going to kill all of them. He might kill one, he might kill two. My job is to save as many as I can. Leading targets. Okay, there's a lot to cover on this one, so just bear with me. A friend of mine told me that the best advice I'd ever given him was don't shoot at the target, shoot at where the target is going to be. If you look at many of my skill shots, you will see that I'm never aiming for the target where he is. I'm always aiming for the target's next location. This is because your target and your bullet have to travel. They have a certain amount of time it takes to get to that location. The idea is you want this collision to happen. You want your bullet and your target to meet at the same place at the same time. This is the same idea for shooting a helicopter with a tank shell. When looking at a distance, you need to think in real terms. A muzzle velocity of most guns, a muzzle velocity is the speed at which bullet travels out of a typical rifle, typically is 1,280 meters a second. What this means is if a person is about 2,500 meters away, it's going to take 2 seconds for that bullet to reach that target. However, in Battlefield, most muzzle velocities are around 500 meters a second, give or take. So what this means is if that target is 1,000 meters from you, it's going to take 2 seconds for that bullet to reach its target. Keep this in mind when you're shooting, because where that target will be in 2 seconds is going to be 2 seconds down the road. So if you shoot at where he's at, the bullet is going to be hitting that location of where he was, not where he is. Most of the time you won't have to think about this much. You will always need to lead your target when you're moving. If you see someone running to a wall, or behind a door, or behind something, don't trust your sight, trust your instinct. Shoot in front of them. This game lags, this game glitches, so you'll need to lead your target and trust your killer instinct. Don't trust your sight all the time. Remember that the amount you lead your target will always be greater the further the target is away from you. The closer the target is to you, the less you need to lead your target. So let's talk quick sighting. This is mostly a sniper talent that you're going to be forced to learn eventually if you want to kill targets on long range. You mentally have to calculate several things. Target speed, bullet drop, time to target, all in your head at once in order to make this kill. Trust me, you can't mentally think about this all at once, but your subconscious mind can do it all for you in the blink of an eye. Stop fighting yourself and allow your subconscious to make these calculations in your head and act on them. They're basically instinct maneuvers. Shoot the gun a lot, get used to the bullet drop. You will get basically what they call muscle memory for these shots. There are a few things that you can use in this area to help you out though, so let's talk about this. When we're talking about quick sighting, the only other things that can really help you besides just playing a lot with that rifle is MIL. MIL is short for million radian, and it is a little dot or a slash on the sniper scopes. Most people tend to use the 8x scope. but actually the most accurate scope is the 40 times scope. A lot of extra little things on there that can help you calculate windage and speed and all that stuff. But most people, other than real snipers, don't really use them. But the 40 times scope is basically summed down to each notch is about 50 meters. So without zeroing in, to be able to hit your target that's 50 meters away, you don't have to do anything. To hit a target that's 150 meters away, use third notch. This is very easy whenever you're trying to just quickly take targets at different ranges long down. But you need to understand about the approximate range for each of these mil. Every scope has different mil on them, so keep that in mind. Targets will have different speeds, scopes have different mils. Every weapon has a different bullet speed, so you have to use the scope with the weapon a lot to be able to understand what is different. There's a couple other things we can do here. Zeroing is another item you can use. Zeroing is when you're wanting to snipe on a hill, but you know the targets in your area are going to come into a certain location. Say you're sitting on a hill, you're trying to look over flag A, and you know that flag A is 150 meters from you. Well, zeroing in is what you're going to want to do whenever you know your range. So if those people are, say, let's take the 150 and make it 200. If you know they're 200 meters away from you, you can zero in your sniper scope to 200 meters. What this is going to do is it's going to do basically in real life what it's going to do for a real sniper. It's going to make that bullet drop take into account for a 200 range shot. So it's not going to make your shot go 200 meters. It's going to do that anyway. It's going to go ahead and make it to where your scope is going to be aligned for that 200 range shot instead of having to use those mil on your sniper scope. So I got to ask a question about how do I find the range to a target that's not next to something that tells me how far away he is. There's many things you can do here. One of the first ideas is that you can use a flag. If you see that the target is near a flag and you look at the flag and it tells you the flag is 150 meters away, guesstimate about how far that player is. It's a lot less for you to calculate all in a split second. The next thing you can do is you can use a PLD, which is a sniper rifle weapon or a sniper kit weapon. All it does is it lights up a target for a laser guided munition, but also gives you a range indicator. The second thing you can do is you can put a rangefinder on your actual gun. There's really no reason to do this because there's way too many other clues in the game to tell you the range to that target. The third and final thing is more of an actual shooter reference. Most shooters, whenever they're taking a target out, they think in their mind how long a football field is and how long that visually is. A football field is 105 meters. So if you see a target and you think he's about a football field away, gauge it for about 100 meters. If you think that person's a little bit further out, gauge it for 150 and use those notches on there. One notch, 50 meters. Think that. But that's only for the 40 times scope on certain weapons. So go ahead and keep that in mind. You got to play with these things a little bit in order to get zeroing and sniper rifles down. It's a little bit more difficult than other weapons, so just keep at it, practice at it, and get it down.
Guys, if you like this video, please subscribe, please like, please share. If you have any questions or want to see anything else, please leave a comment below. Thanks.